Damn, I don't know why the hell it keeps doing this. I'm sorry, followers. If I get a call and I try to pause it, it doesn't pause. I have to start all over again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm in the middle of telling a story, and there's no way, if you get a phone call, unless you just refuse that phone call, your video's done. And like, you're in the middle of a video, you shouldn't have to do a part 2 and part 3. But anyways, I was talking about the getting thrown out of Charlestown High. So I went to MGH. I remember my mother come pick me up. I told her, listen, Mom, I walked up. McCreary and Marky Matarazzo were getting in a fight. And now she knows Brian McCreary well from being at my house and me staying over there. I must have stayed over his house 100 times, if that. Growing up, you know what I mean? We grew up together. I said, he's getting in a fight. They were outnumbered. I went up to render assistance, and it was getting broken up. So I wasn't even involved. And the kid hit me with a fucking brick. You know what I mean? What do you want me to do? So I defended myself. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm gonna. My first thing is attack. You just hit me with a brick. I'm not just gonna sit there. I know I attacked the kid, and my shirt got ripped off in the fight. I think that's all he did. Was wrestling for a second. Is my shirt came off. Like, I made sure it came off, because once we started wrestling, he grabbed my shirt like kind of like a hockey fight. I came out of it so I could keep fighting. So I didn't stay tangled up. But because I didn't think this was gonna happen. I didn't think, oh my God, they're gonna see the knife, and all I knew was I got hit with a brick, and I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to hurt this person that just hit me with a brick. And I didn't think all this shit was gonna happen. I didn't think it was really that big of a fucking deal. All I knew was I'm from Charlestown. I go to Charlestown High. I'm very fucking outnumbered. You never know what the fuck's gonna happen. This thing's here to protect myself. I don't go anywhere without it. Do you know what I mean? And growing up at that time, like, that's the way I thought. And I would imagine that's the way most people thought. It was the 90s. We went to Charlestown High. 90% of the school was busing, or they went to that school because of busing, and they took the train in, or however they got there, but they weren't from Charlestown. You know, there was probably I would say maybe 5-10% of the school was from Charlestown, were white kids from Charlestown, and we were heavily outnumbered, and we were the minority. So I carried a knife. I mean, that was just second nature to fucking do. And I got the boot for it. I didn't use it, I didn't pull it, and for all they knew, I could have dissed it before I came out. I wasn't walking in school grounds. I didn't walk in the school yet. All I did was come on the ramp to try to help them. But I wasn't, at that time, I wasn't going into school. I was going to the bleachers to smoke those 2 bags of dust. I don't know if it was 1 or 2, but it was good dust. I know that. But I remember God rest his soul, Anthony Shea, or Frankie McPherson, definitely. Phil O'Neill was there. I remember specifically. This is almost 30 years ago, right? And my memory is so good from back then, but I can't remember like things 5-10 minutes ago, which is starting to feel dangerous to me. They fucking like, come on, fucking, let me smoke with you. And I'm like, dude, sorry, all you want to smoke. I can't pick one of you. Like, I can't do that. But I just got hit with a fucking brick, right? Or maybe I seen Phil down on Main Street afterwards. I think he was there, then I seen him down Main Street afterwards. But I smoked that dust to the head. which I had to, and I remember feeling so fucking weird. I was so whacked out, and my head felt so fucking weird, because I just took a brick to it. I had a big dent in my fucking head, but I was so fucking whacked out, and I was like, yeah, man, I don't even give a fuck. I didn't give two fucks that I just got thrown out of Charlestown High, because I did not do one single piece of work. I didn't do no homework. I didn't take no tests. I went into school just to get marked absent. I went into homeroom, and then I went on the bleachers and just got fucked up all day. Like, at that time, like, literally, just getting fucked up was the aim. I remember we would skip school and fucking go to the liquor store and have someone grab Natty Ice. We were drinking Natty Ice, like, on the bleachers. Like, we got drunk, we smoked weed, we did whatever we could to get fucked up. I remember at that time, like, that was kind of like a weird time in my life, because I remember, like, I wasn't even really kind of, like, hanging out with my friend group. You know, I was just getting fucked up during school hours, and I don't even know what was happening when I came home. I don't even know what my mother was thinking or what was going on around that time, because I just so didn't give a fuck about anything. And it wasn't long until I was shooting dope, because that wasn't enough, you know, beer, pills, weed, dust, wasn't enough anymore. And I started sniffing heroin not long after, and I was in Salt Bay not long after that, and I started learning the rules of incarceration and how that worked. And I remember my first bid, and I was just there, and I was just kind of like a little kid, a young kid, and I remember, like, dudes just talking about this dude, that dude, like, yeah, it was upstate, this dude's a tough dude, this dude's a tough dude, and that just stuck with me for the next time around when I came back, and I realized, like, shit, like, that's gotta be me, like, if I'm gonna be here, like, if dudes are gonna talk about tough dudes, they're gonna talk about me. Like, I'm gonna make sure dudes know that, like, if you're gonna talk about guys on this block being tough, it's definitely gonna be me. Like, I'm gonna be respected here. I'm gonna make sure either somebody respects me or fears me, and I gotta make a move soon to make sure that happens. And that's basically what started that thinking. You want to talk about stinking thinking? That's the stinking thinking that led to me turning into a monster, basically. And then that shit carried over to the street while I was using and picking up so many assault and batteries, like so many assault and batteries, and and getting kicked out of places. Talk about getting kicked out of places my whole life. That even carried over to jail. I got kicked out of jails. I ended up starting to get kicked out of, shipped out of institutions, shipped out of fucking, I got shipped out of Billerica for fights and for ripping out and for just acting like an animal. And, like, that shit in there is like a badge of honor, and I thought I was cool. Like, at that time, at age 23, 24, 22, whatever I was, like, like, that was the highlight of what I had going on in my life. And, like, I'm glad my highlights today are much different than that. I'm much different than that. My highlights today are waking up to my child and just seeing him. Are you my daddy? He says the craziest shit. Are you my mama? Like, he's the funniest little bastard. And I'm picking up my little girl from school and, like, helping her with her homework and just seeing the joy on their faces. But them knowing that I'm gonna be there. They know I'm gonna be there. Like my little girl, she's had some bullying issues, but she knows like how I'm gonna respond. That I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna overreact to things because that's who I am as a father. But that's all right today. That's better than the shit that I used to. That used to be the highlight of my day. I'm not getting kicked out of anywhere anymore. Everywhere I went, I wasn't welcome because of the way I acted. And that's why I pointed out those things. I was never welcome anywhere because I never knew how to act. I did know how to act. Well, that's the thing, and that's the problem. And that's really the problem, is I was raised proper. My mother was the best mother you could ever ask for. I did know how to act, but I didn't act correctly, and that is what's wrong. When you don't know, some people just don't know because they weren't raised properly. They were raised like animals. Their parents didn't give a fuck what they did, so they're put in a place where no one's ever told them, hey, do this, do that, and you see that in the way they act. But that wasn't the case with me. I was taught better, and that's what makes it so fucking bad, is that I was taught better, and everywhere I went, I was told to leave, and that's what makes all of these situations all the more sad, but that I learned. You learn from your mistakes. Is if you learn from your mistakes, it makes at least those mistakes a little worthwhile. You know what I mean? If you can look at that situation and learn something from it, at least it wasn't for nothing. You know what I mean? And I hope that each and every person that watches this can get a little something out of this video, and you don't have to go out like that. You don't have to live like me. Nobody has to live and make the choices that I made. And if you have made those choices and you're starting to learn from them, look at what I did, and look where I came from, and look where I am today, and know that you're not alone. You're not alone, buddy. Alright, thank you followers, thank you new people hopefully watching. Smash that like button. You know what to do. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Help this video get to more people, because I think more people need to see my videos to help it get as big as it should be, because there's people out there going viral off fabrications and falsehoods. This is authentic shit here. It don't get more real than this. This is hard time real talk with John Aaron. Peace.